All right, we've transitioned inside. Stella is actually right outside. She's growling at me right now. Behind the camera, we have a little balcony. We're in an apartment, right, a beautiful view, right across from the beach. Now, what we're going to do is kind of similar to what we did in the other video, but right here, we don't have a lot of smells to distract her. So I've used some cookie treats that I've sprinkled around to create a distraction. Now, what we're going to do is her handler, her guardian's going to go and open the screen door and bring her out on a leash when we're doing this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let her kind of come over here and start licking up these treats. I'm going to be standing over here, and we're going to basically, Joe's going to do the same sort of thing we did outside. Once she kind of gets stiff or shows any sign that she's uncomfortable, he's going to crouch down and make a kissing sound or say her name and get her to move away from me towards herself. These are going to provide a nice distractor, so she's going to come over, she's going to be sniffing these instead of being, hopefully, instead of reacting at me. And so the idea is we want her to, again, practice being around me without reacting to me. And anytime that she starts to feel uncomfortable, and that's going to be her turning her head away from me, or staring at me, stiffening, her tail coming up, her breathing starting to accelerate. If Joe sees any of those things, then he's going to immediately give her a kissing sound and crouch down and ask her to come. We're not going to put any tension on the leash. We're not going to pull her. We're going to ask her to come on her own. What we want to do is teach her that when you're uncomfortable with the person, instead of trying to make the person move away, you move away yourself and you achieve the same thing because all she wants is more distance between the two of us. All right, so Joe's going to go ahead and I'm going to move a little bit further back. My head might be cut off in this video. I've got it on a tripod, so I'm not sure. You only really need to see me from the chest down anyways. Now I'm going to try to stay fairly static in terms of my movement because movement will cause her to be more reactive. Now I'm going to probably start pushing the boundaries a little bit and moving it to create a little bit of distraction for or something that she might be reactive to. Joe, if you could step right there, you go. We just want to make sure you're not blocking your own view. Stella. And again, we don't want to pull on the leash. It's an instinctive reaction. We've been doing it for a long time. And again, that's what I mean about movement. So try to be right over there. There you go. So next caller. There you go. And a little more.
So.
Now, Joe's been saying good girl, but I would recommend you say something like attention or position or something that means just to come back toward me. There you go. Now, we want to watch her tail on the leash. You see there's no tension on the leash, tail's hanging down. We'd like her tail, she has a little bit of a bend. We'd like to see a little bit of the bend we're getting now. But again, there we go. That would have been a time to call her. That's okay. She went back to being distracted. Now I'm going to get up and kind of just walk here to create a little bit of a I'm walking with some heavy steps. I'm trying to create, normally she'd be reacting to just movement. These are all things that would have caused her to freak out before. So moving stuff around, I'm not authorized to move things around in her mind. And so the fact that I can do that and she's more interested in this, she's practicing doing different behavior. Now again, we see her tail going down, which shows she's a little uncomfortable. We're not doing anything that's causing this is because of her own soif de vivre, if I can speak French. But basically, as we're doing this, we should start seeing, as you can see now, the tail's starting to have a little bit of that bend and coming out. That's more of a normal behavior that we want it to have happen. But normally, she's put away in a kennel. And for her, because for dogs, being removed from the group is a punishment, or is almost the worst thing for a dog, every time somebody comes over and she gets sequestered in a bedroom or the kennel, she looks at herself as being punished. So by doing this and having some distractions out here, she's able to have somebody moving around and be talking and not showing much interest in because there's a motivation for her to be here. Now eventually we're going to have less and less treats and eventually she's going to learn just to walk away on her own. Go ahead and try to call her again. Crouch down.
Stella.
Excellent. And then you're going to come up with a word, and at that point you would be saying attention or position or whatever it is. Now when you're doing this, having some treats might not be a bad thing. Go ahead and let's, you have attention on the leash there. There we go. So remember, we want her to come away for her own accord, not because there's any tension on the leash. We want to use the leash really as almost like a safety line. We hope to God we never have to use it. We only use that in case you were to lunge at the person. But if we do this properly, there shouldn't be any lunging, and we should just have a lot of Stella getting a lot more treats than probably she should be getting. When we're doing a lot of this, moderate how much you're feeding her, because we want to make sure she has doesn't get a weight problem because of this. Stella, Stella, careful. Sit. All right, go ahead and call her back. Excellent. So that little interaction didn't seem like a big deal, but she didn't growl or lunge at me. I was able to get her to sit. Well, I don't know if I can, but I was able to have a positive interaction with her. She started to slow down. We just would rather have her come away. And again, the more that we teach her to walk away, so when we're doing this, we want to practice multiple times during this of asking her to not only ignore the person, but give up on the treats, go back to the handler, and then after a second, the handler lets her go back to doing the same thing. All right, now we still have some crumbles here, but not a lot. Now, when you're doing this, make sure that whoever is the person doing this person is doing my job needs to be checking with you, and you should be telling the person what to do. So there you go. Perfect. That was a great redirect. So we don't want this person to get up and move around unabated. We'd like to have the guardian say, okay, I'd like you to get up and go grab that box and go put it down over here. So sit. Now, one other thing, we went over this outside. Since she can catch, this is a great way for her to interact. So if we do have somebody that we're going to have come into the house, we talked off camera about this. I'll probably probably should have this in the next video, but I'll talk about it right now. We want to deplete her energy before she's going to meet the person. I would have the person meet outside and do a similar scenario that we have in the video that's above this one. And then I would like to have the person have some high value training treats and then have her ask him to sit and then catch. I say catch every time they catch you. You can say whatever you want. But now, if the person does this, then walks a couple steps and then does another catch, and then walks a couple steps and does another catch. Now this person is associated with her getting treats falling from the sky, even though they're coming from the person. She's more inclined to want to do those. And again, we're creating positive associations. Stella, down. Up. Oh, we'll give you a sit. All right, let's call her back one more time. This is a little behavior adjustment training, or BAT training. And this is how we can teach Stella to develop a different way of interacting with people. Let's do one more. Sit. All right, let's go ahead and call her one more. So we're teaching Stella it's better to move away from people when you're uncomfortable with what they're doing to achieve the same goal of increasing distance as opposed to barking, lunging, or biting them.